8 Steps in Preparing for Success. Video 6, Step 5, IQA Planning. Internal quality assurance is an important aspect of any delivery. This short video is intended to remind and refresh providers on some of the high-level approaches to IQA to support your planning and delivery of the new qualifications. So, what do you think you may need to consider when delivering qualifications and the associated IQA? Well, the practices of IQA haven't altered, but with each new qualification, with new assessment methods, the risk of errors increases until everyone becomes more familiar with the process. So naturally, this will increase the amount of IQA required. It's also easy to think of IQA as being only sampling, when it includes much more, much of which you are probably doing without realising you're doing IQA. If we look at it from the top, centres need to consider the rationale, which we've already mentioned would naturally be high due to the qualifications being new. This will increase the amount of planning and sampling required. So firstly, consider how many learners, how many assessors, how many assessments, and so on. Will these take place? Start thinking about those things and about the timing of your IQA activities associated with these. These can be documented in your IQA file, but also in the adaptable delivery planner identified in step 2, which is video 3. It's likely that assessors need additional support from IQAs during the early stages of assessment, such as additional support meetings, opportunities to feedback, share best practice, time to review the paperwork, and so on. Some of the usual activities can be viewed on this slide, such as planning observations, IQA standardisation activities, monitoring, and so on. But let's move to the next slide and look at these in a bit more detail. If we break IQA into stages, we start with planning, much of which happens through natural planning at the start of each year. Always work around your organisation's high-level strategy and then consider how to apply this to your sector associated with the risks that you've identified. How often will the team meet? How many meetings? What will the agenda be? Again, this is often already in place, but may need adapting slightly to reflect these new qualifications. I often recommend IQA share all relevant documents with the teams, including plans for IQA, any assessment material that may be required, additional documents associated with the qualification. Anything that you discuss can be documented on your minutes. Then there's the stage most of us are very familiar with, that's implementing. So this is when you carry out the observations and complete the feedback, sampling of assessments and documentation. Most IQAs and assessors are very familiar with that section, but it's worth noting again, this still needs to be carried out, and with them being new qualifications, you'll need to do some additional just to make sure everyone is comfortable with the process. Then we move to the next stage, our ongoing considerations. If you identify a problem or an issue during the delivery and assessment, this can be logged, and this will probably identify the need for immediate support and meetings with assessors. This can be documented on the standardisation minutes and actions identified. This helps ensure issues are picked up in a timely manner and we act before it's a big impact. Then finally, at the end of the year, it's an opportunity to reflect on what went well and any areas of improvement. This is another good opportunity for teams to come together, IQAs to feedback, prepare for EQA activity, and identify any key areas of improvement. This will then roll into next year's planning, and if everything has been successful, it may impact on your IQA rationale next time. So, once again, thank you for listening, and we hope you found this short video helpful.